Have you ever been so scared that your own imagination became your greatest enemy? Tonight, before you go to bed, I want you to try something. Turn off every light in your house, not just the bedroom, everything. Now wait, within a few seconds, your eyes begin searching for shapes. That jacket on the chair suddenly looks like a person. The hallway seems longer. Every tiny sound feels louder than it should. Now imagine there's no light switch, no flashlight, no phone, no street lights glowing through the window, no neighbor's porch light, no moon bright enough to help you. Just darkness. The kind of darkness so complete, you can't even see your own hand stretched out in front of your face. Now stay there, not for 10 minutes, not for one night, but for your entire life. Welcome to the world of your ancestors. For over 300,000 years, anatomically modern humans lived in a world where sunset meant something completely different than it does today. For us, night means Netflix, late night snacks, or scrolling social media until we promise ourselves just one more video. For them, night meant survival, because when the sun disappeared, they were no longer the hunters. They became the hunted. And here's the strange part. The things ancient humans feared most didn't disappear. Many of them are still hiding inside your brain today. Scientists believe some of our strongest fears weren't learned from horror movies or ghost stories. They were carved into our nervous system by hundreds of thousands of years of surviving a world that wanted to kill us. So, what exactly terrified ancient humans the most? The answer is far more surprising than giant predators. Imagine you're sitting around a small campfire. The flames dance in front of you. Your family is nearby. The smell of smoke fills the air. Everything feels safe, but then the fire begins shrinking. The bright orange flames become glowing red embers. The shadows grow longer. The forest starts disappearing into blackness. Every sound suddenly matters. A branch snaps. Something moves in the bushes. You freeze. Maybe it's just the wind. Maybe it's something watching you. Today, when we hear strange noises outside, we can flip a switch. Ancient humans couldn't. Their eyes simply weren't built for the night. Compared with many predators, humans have surprisingly poor night vision. Owls can detect movement in near darkness. Cats can see several times better than we can in dim light. Even wolves had a huge advantage after sunset. Humans relied on color vision and detail during the day. Night belonged to something else. Imagine playing hide and seek, except you're the only one who can't see. Not exactly a fair game. This wasn't just uncomfortable, it was deadly. Some of the largest predators that ever lived alongside humans hunted most effectively during twilight and nighttime. Cave lions, hyenas, leopards, massive bears, even packs of wolves. To them, darkness wasn't scary. It was opportunity. Archaeologists believe controlled fire became one of humanity's greatest survival tools, not just because it provided warmth, but because it pushed back the night. A small circle of light created something incredibly valuable: time. Predators often hesitated before approaching flames. That hesitation could mean the difference between waking up tomorrow or becoming tomorrow's meal. Talk about the worst hotel security system ever. One campfire, and everyone collectively hoped it was enough. But darkness did something even more dangerous than hiding predators. It unleashed the most powerful survival tool humans ever developed: imagination. Your brain hates uncertainty. When it doesn't have enough information, it starts making predictions. That's why even today, a pile of clothes can briefly look like a person, or a shadow can seem like something moving. Your brain would rather make a false alarm than miss a real threat. Evolution rewarded the people who assumed better safe than sorry, because the people who ignored suspicious sounds often didn't get another chance. Scientists studying evolutionary psychology believe this tendency is one reason humans are naturally alert in darkness. It's not proof that monsters exist. It's proof that your ancestors survived by acting as if danger might exist. Ironically, your imagination has probably scared you more times than any real predator ever has. And that's exactly how evolution wanted it. But darkness alone wasn't enough. There was one thing standing between your ancestors and becoming easy prey. It wasn't strength. It wasn't speed. It wasn't sharper teeth. It was something so powerful that some historians call it the greatest technology ever discovered. Fire, and losing it could be more terrifying than the darkness itself. Imagine it's the middle of winter. The temperature keeps falling. Your children are asleep beside you. The wind outside is howling through the trees. In the center of your camp, a small fire quietly burns. It doesn't look very impressive, no bigger than a few burning logs. But that little flame is doing more work than you could possibly imagine. It's giving you warmth. It's cooking your food. It's drying your clothes. It's keeping dangerous animals at a distance. It's providing the only light you'll see until sunrise. And most importantly, it's giving you hope that you'll still be alive tomorrow morning. Then, the fire goes out. Silence. Nobody speaks, because everyone knows exactly what that means today. today. If we lose electricity, we complain. We grab a flashlight, charge our phone, maybe light a scented candle and pretend it's cozy. Ancient humans didn't have that luxury. For much of prehistory, making fire wasn't as simple as rubbing two sticks together. In fact, that's one of Hollywood's biggest myths. Creating fire required skill, dry materials, the right weather, and sometimes a lot of luck. One mistake could waste hours of precious energy, and energy was something hungry people couldn't afford to waste. Researchers believe early humans first learned to control naturally occurring fires, often started by lightning, long before they mastered creating fire. Whenever they wanted, some archaeological sites suggest controlled fire dates back hundreds of thousands of years, though scientists still debate exactly when regular fire use became widespread. But once humans truly mastered it, everything changed. Fire didn't just improve survival, it transformed what it meant to be human. Cooking unlocked more calories from food, it softened tough meat, destroyed many harmful bacteria and parasites, made roots and plants easier to digest. Anthropologists believe cooking even helped support the evolution of our large, energy-hungry brains. In a strange way, your ability to solve math problems, write emails, or binge-watch documentaries might owe a small thank you to someone who figured out how not to burn dinner 300,000 years ago. Although, let's be honest, the first prehistoric barbecue probably had a few crispy experiments. Fire also changed our daily routine. Instead of going to sleep immediately after sunset, people could stay awake. They talked, shared stories, taught children, made tools, strengthened friendships. Some scientists believe these evenings around the fire helped shape language, culture, and cooperation. Long before schools, long before books, the campfire was humanity's first classroom. But here's the problem. The brighter your fire, the farther away it could be seen. Not just by your family, by predators, and by rival humans. A glowing fire in the middle of a dark landscape was like putting up a giant sign that said, "People are here." Warmth came with a risk. Safety came with visibility. Every advantage had a price. Imagine hearing footsteps beyond the light. You can't see who's there. Maybe it's another family looking for shelter. Maybe they're friendly. Maybe they're starving. Or maybe they've been watching your fire for hours, waiting. Ancient humans weren't just afraid of animals. Sometimes they had every reason to fear each other. We'll come back to that later, because before another tribe could become your problem, there was a much more immediate threat. Something that didn't roar, didn't growl, didn't chase you, yet it quietly killed more ancient humans than almost anything else. Hunger. Not missing one meal, not skipping breakfast, real hunger. The kind that makes your body consume itself one day at a time. And unlike a predator, you couldn't scare hunger away with fire. Imagine waking up and realizing there isn't a single piece of food left. No refrigerator, no supermarket, no food delivery, no pantry full of snacks. If you don't find food today, you don't eat today. Simple as that. Now imagine that happening for 3 days, then 4, then 5. Welcome to one of the greatest fears your ancestors ever faced. When most people picture prehistoric life, they imagine brave hunters charging toward giant mammoths with spears. It's an exciting image. It also leaves out one important detail. Most hunts failed. A hunting party could spend an entire day tracking animals, only to return with absolutely nothing. Imagine walking nearly 20 miles, climbing hills, crossing rivers, throwing spears, burning thousands of calories, and coming home carrying disappointment. Talk about the world's worst grocery trip. Modern hunter-gatherer societies, which scientists studied to better understand ancient lifestyles, show that hunting success could vary dramatically depending on the season, weather, and available wildlife. Some days were celebrations, others were empty-handed walks home. And here's the cruel part. Your body doesn't care how hard you tried. It only cares whether you ate. That's why ancient humans weren't just hunters. They were incredible problem solvers. They gathered berries, dug up edible roots, collected nuts, caught fish, trapped rabbits, gathered shellfish. Even insects became an important food source in many parts of the world today. Someone screams because there's a bug in their sandwich. Back then, the bug was the sandwich, and honestly, it came with extra protein. This flexibility became one of humanity's greatest superpowers. Unlike many predators that specialized in one type of prey, humans learned to eat almost anything that could keep them alive. That's one reason our species spread across deserts, jungles, mountains, and frozen tundra. We weren't the strongest animals, we were the most adaptable. But adaptation couldn't stop nature. Then came the winter. The berries disappeared. The rivers froze. The herds migrated somewhere else. The forests became silent. Every sunrise brought the same terrifying question. What are we going to eat today? Children became weaker. Older members of the group struggled to keep walking. Every failed hunt increased the pressure, not just on the hunters, but on everyone waiting for them. Archaeological evidence shows that prehistoric people sometimes traveled enormous distances following migrating animals. Entire communities moved because standing still meant starvation. Home wasn't a place. Home was wherever survival was possible. Think about that today. We move because we found a better job. They moved because staying meant dying, and hunger changed the way humans thought. When food became scarce, every decision mattered. Should you share your last piece of meat or save it for your own children? Do you risk hunting a giant animal that could feed everyone, or choose the safer option and catch smaller prey? These weren't moral thought experiments. They were life or death calculations. Ironically, our modern love for sugar, fat, and high-calorie foods may come from this ancient struggle. Your brain evolved in a world where calories were incredibly valuable. Whenever it found honey, ripe fruit, or fatty meat, it encouraged you to eat as much as possible. It had no idea one day humans would invent unlimited buffets. Your Stone Age brain is still whispering, eat it now, you might not find food tomorrow. Unfortunately, your refrigerator keeps proving it wrong. But as terrifying as hunger was, there was another enemy that didn't care whether you were strong, smart, or well-fed. It didn't roar like a lion. It didn't chase like a wolf. Sometimes, it entered through nothing more than a tiny cut on your hand. And once it did, there was almost nothing your ancestors could do. Because before modern medicine, one small injury could become a death sentence. Imagine you're sharpening a stone spear. Your hand slips. A small cut appears across your palm. You barely notice it. You wrap it with a piece of animal hide and keep working today. You'd probably wash it with soap, put on a bandage, and forget about it by tomorrow. Your ancestors didn't have that option. For them, that tiny cut could become the beginning of the end. The most terrifying killer in prehistory was often invisible. No glowing eyes, no terrifying roar, no warning. Just microscopic bacteria quietly entering the body. Ancient humans had no idea germs even existed. The germ theory of disease wouldn't be discovered until the 19th century. To them, people simply got sick. Sometimes they recovered. Sometimes they didn't. There was no explanation, only fear. Imagine waking up the next morning, the cut is swollen. By evening, it hurts to move your hand. A day later, you have a fever. Now, you can't hunt. You can't carry wood. You can't protect your family. Without antibiotics, even a simple infection could spread through the bloodstream. Today, doctors treat many of these infections with medicines that didn't exist until the 20th century. Back then, your own immune system was your only doctor, and sometimes it lost. The same danger existed everywhere. A broken tooth, a deep splinter, an infected insect bite, a fractured leg, even a thorn could become deadly if it became infected in modern life. We often fear dramatic accidents. Ancient humans feared ordinary ones because ordinary injuries had extraordinary consequences. And then there was childbirth. For thousands of generations, giving birth was one of the most dangerous moments in a woman's life. Modern hospitals, sterile equipment, blood transfusions, and emergency surgery have dramatically reduced many risks. Ancient mothers had none of these advantages. Many babies never reached adulthood. Many mothers never survived childbirth. Every birth brought hope and enormous uncertainty. Children faced dangers too. Their immune systems were still developing. A disease that an adult might survive could be fatal for a child. This is one reason many prehistoric communities likely had high infant mortality rates. It sounds heartbreaking because it was. Every generation existed because enough families somehow survived these impossible odds. Think about that for a second. Every single person alive today is descended from an unbroken chain of survivors stretching back hundreds of thousands of years. Not because life was easy, but because someone endured it. Yet, even disease wasn't always the greatest threat. Sometimes, the most dangerous creature in the forest looked exactly like you. Imagine seeing smoke rising on the horizon. Another group of humans, your heart starts racing. Are they traitors or competitors? Will they share food or take yours? Ancient humans weren't alone on Earth. They sometimes encountered other bands competing for the same animals, the same water, and the same shelter. Most meetings were probably cautious. Some may have led to trade or cooperation. Others almost certainly ended in violence. When resources became scarce, trust became expensive. But here's something fascinating. The very thing ancient humans feared also became their greatest strength, other people. Because while rival groups could be dangerous, your own group was your best chance of survival. One person couldn't watch for predators all night. One person couldn't hunt every animal. One person couldn't care for children, gather food, and protect the camp at the same time. Humans survived because they worked together. Cooperation became our ultimate survival strategy. In a world filled with fear, community was humanity's greatest weapon. So, what did ancient humans fear the most? It wasn't just lions or wolves or hunger or disease. They feared uncertainty, the darkness that hid predators, the empty landscape where food might never appear, the injury that might never heal, the stranger whose intentions they couldn't read. Every day brought a question with no guaranteed answer. Will I survive until tomorrow? And here's the twist. That ancient survival system never left. It's still inside you. The reason sudden noises make you jump. Why shadows sometimes look alive. Why being alone in complete darkness feels unsettling. Why your heart races before you even know what's wrong. These reactions aren't flaws. They're ancient survival software running on a modern brain. The world has changed. Your instincts haven't. So tonight, when you flip on a light without thinking, open your refrigerator, or clean a tiny cut on your finger, remember something. For almost all of human history, those simple actions actions would have seemed like magic. And somewhere deep inside your mind, a small part of your Stone Age ancestor is still whispering, "We made it." Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into humanity's oldest fears, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next adventure into our ancient past.